So you've won asylum, right? Well, huge congratulations are due. This is a life-changing event. You can stay safe and stay in America. The hard part is definitely behind you, but there are some things you definitely need to know as a newly minted asylee. In this video, I'm going to share with you the extremely important information that everyone who has been granted asylum in the USA needs to know. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right, there are 10 things that you need to be aware of after having been granted asylum in the United States. And this information, well, it should be helpful whether you've won your case in immigration court or alternatively, were granted asylum by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. There may be some slight differences due to operational changes at USCIS or the immigration courts, but the following should give you an accurate picture of how things will unfold after winning asylum and what things you need to keep in mind. And by the way, number 9 on our list is absolutely critical. You could lose your asylum status and get kicked out of the country if you don't follow my guidance on this. And number 10 concerns your next step in moving towards citizenship. So stick with me to the end of this video, okay? Okay, let's get started. First, you need to know about and ensure that you keep someplace safe your I-94 arrival record card. This is a little white card that the government should send to you after you get asylum. Your I-94 demonstrates your status as an asylee and gives you official authorization to live and work in the US indefinitely. It shows that you've been granted asylum and it lists the date on which you actually became an asylee. This I-94 replaces any older versions that you might have previously had. Some people have one of these from prior entries into the United States. Keep your asylum-based I-94 in a safe place, just like you would with a passport. Replacement cards can be issued, but it's a hassle that you want to avoid. You should also take a photo of it so that you'll have an electronic version stored in the cloud. All right, number 2 on our list is another important document. This one is the Social Security card. This is a card that a lot of employers will want to see in order to verify that you can work legally. Now, it's actually not required to work legally. Your I-94 is sufficient proof of your ability to work legally, but many employers don't know this or they just aren't comfortable with it, and they want to see a Social Security card. Even if you had one before, you'll want to go to your local Social Security Administration office and apply for a new Social Security card without any employment restrictions printed on it. Doing this protects your credit history and facilitates employment. Bring your asylum approval notice, your I-94, and a photo ID when applying in person. Now, some Social Security clerks are unfamiliar with the process for asylees, so having your approval letter ready and with you aids the process. I also recommend printing out the SSA webpage that outlines documentation requirements for asylees and refugees. It never hurts to be prepared, right? All right, we're ready for the third thing that requires your attention after getting USA asylum. It's also related to work. Getting a new employment authorization document. This is also known as an EAD for its initials or simply as a work permit. You know, I said a minute ago that employers often want to see a Social Security card. Well, they often want to see a valid EAD that reflects your current immigration status too. So it's good to have one of these. This is true even if you already have a valid work permit based on your pending asylum claim. Now that you've been granted asylum, your classification has changed, and it's good to have a work permit card that reflects your asylee status. USCIS is actually supposed to send one of these to you automatically within a month of an asylum officer approving your asylum case. But if you want asylum in immigration court, you'll either need to schedule a special appointment with USCIS for them to create this card for you, or you can create an account through that agency's website and apply for your new work permit online. Now let's talk about family, and this is the 4th thing to consider after winning asylum. Bringing your family to America if they're abroad, or getting legal status for them if they're already here but were not included as dependents in your asylum claim. If you have a spouse or unmarried children who are under age 21 and who are not included on your asylum application, then you can file for what's called derivative asylum status for them within 2 years of your own asylum approval. Now, if they're overseas, then they'll get to come to the United States States and will have asylee status upon admission to the country. If they're already in the United States, then they'll acquire that status as soon as USCIS approves your petition. And this petition, by the way, is called Form I-730, and you submit it to USCIS. Unfortunately, at present, it's taking USCIS well over a year to make a decision on this type of petition. All right, that takes us to number 5 on your list of things that you need to know about upon winning asylum in the United States. And this is one that often gets overlooked, but it's important. So I'm glad you're learning about it here with me in this video. And it concerns registration with something called the Selective Service. Now, what is that? Well, the Selective Service is a government system that keeps a list of all men in the United States who are 18 to 25 years old. Now, if there's ever a draft for the military, then the government uses the Selective Service list to know who to call up for duty. If you're a male and are between the ages of 18 and 25 and you're living in the United States, then you're supposed to sign up for this within 30 days of your arrival to the country. Most immigrants don't know about this and don't sign up upon arrival in the United States, but I do recommend that you sign up now. To be clear, if you're 25 or older or you're female, then you do not need to register for the Selective Service. Luckily, registration only takes a few minutes and it can be done online at www.sss.gov. Okay, number 6 is a quick administrative item. Make sure to file a change of address form with USCIS online anytime you move. This is crucial so that you don't miss important notices. And also, you're obliged to keep informing this immigration agency of any changes of address until you eventually become a US citizen. And you need to do this within 10 days of having moved. And you can do this by filing Form AR11 online through the USCIS website. And with that, we're at number 7, which concerns benefits that you're now eligible for as an asylee. The Office of Refugee Resettlement, known by its initials, ORR, provides resources to facilitate asylees' transition and integration in the United States. Key programs that are offered include time-limited cash assistance through something called the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, Medicaid and refugee medical assistance for health coverage, social services like employment assistance, English classes, job training, childcare, and translation services. The goal here is rapid employment and self-sufficiency. ORR may also be able to help with medical screenings and mental health services to ensure a healthy start. Check out the ORR website for information on benefits and programs where you live. So that takes us to the 8th thing that you've got to consider after winning asylum, and it's all about something called a refugee travel document. You should apply for a refugee travel document if you think that you might want to travel outside the United States at any point before becoming a US citizen. And in fact, because you never really know for sure whether you might need to travel abroad, I recommend applying for this even if you have no plans at present to leave the United States. It takes the government quite a while to approve the application for this document, so it's best to apply right away in case you need to make emergency travel arrangements in a hurry, like to go see an ailing family member abroad, for example. What is a refugee travel document exactly? Well, it's basically a special passport that allows asylees to return to the United States after trips abroad. And other countries treat it like a passport. If you need a visa to visit a foreign country, that visa will go in your refugee travel document. You don't need to have any special reason to want to travel abroad. It's totally fine to use it for vacations. You apply for this document by submitting Form I-131 to USCIS. Okay, I cannot stress enough how important it is that you understand and follow this next instruction, which is number 9 on our list. Do not return to your country as an asylee or even as a lawful permanent resident, as doing so may subject you to risk of having your asylee status taken away and even being kicked out of the United States. The idea here is that if you're going back to your country, you must not really need protection and sanctuary here in the United States. You must not really be at risk in your home country, or else you wouldn't have gone back there, right? And this is serious. The US government does, in fact, strip asylees of their status and send them back to their country, where they go back to their country before becoming a US citizen. Even a very brief visit can cause problems. It's unfortunate that this is how things are, but that's reality. Just don't do it. Don't go to your country, okay? And with that, we're at number 10, and I think you're going to like it because it's all about getting your green card, i.e. permanent residency. As an asylee, you are eligible to apply for a green card right away. However, the rules state that it can't actually be granted until 1 year after your asylum approval date. Now, we advise applying in advance so that your green card can be processed as soon as you hit that 1-year mark. Gaining permanent residency provides greater stability and peace of mind. It's better in multiple ways than being an asylee. Having permanent residency puts you on the path to US citizenship, and that should be your goal, US citizenship, because it's the safest status that you can have in America, and it gives you the most rights and privileges. Okay, that was certainly a lot of information, but now you know what steps to take, which documents to obtain, and what else you need to consider in your post-asylum transition period. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case or with getting permanent residency or citizenship in the United States, then call my office today. The number is 713-352-1593. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you secure your future in America through asylum or whatever is next for you in your immigration journey. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.